The morning starts the same way for millions of seniors around the world. The sun rises, the room fills with light, and yet something feels missing. Not pain, not sadness, just a quiet emptiness, a lack of excitement, a sense that life has become something to endure rather than experience. If you've noticed an older parent, a grandparent, or even yourself losing interest in things that once mattered, most people jump to one conclusion immediately: depression. But what if that assumption is wrong? What if what seniors are experiencing isn't depression at all, but something far more common, far less talked about, and completely misunderstood? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you may see aging motivation and purpose in a completely different way. Across cultures, doctors, caregivers, and families are noticing the same pattern. Seniors stop engaging in hobbies they once loved. They decline invitations. They seem emotionally flat. They aren't crying, they aren't hopeless. They simply say things like, "I'm fine," or "I just don't feel like it anymore." This quiet withdrawal is often labeled as depression, but clinical depression comes with deep sadness, guilt, and persistent emotional pain. Many seniors experiencing this loss of interest don't feel sad at all. They feel neutral, numb, disconnected, and that distinction matters more than you think. As people age, the brain changes in ways that are rarely discussed outside medical journals. Dopamine, the chemical responsible for motivation and reward, naturally declines over time. This doesn't mean happiness disappears, but it does mean excitement becomes harder to trigger. Activities that once created anticipation now feel effortful. The problem isn't that seniors don't want joy. It's that joy requires more energy to access. When the brain's reward system slows down, interest fades quietly, without the emotional pain typically associated with depression. Another factor is predictability. By the time someone reaches their senior years, much of life has become routine. The same house, the same meals, the same conversations, the same television programs. The brain thrives on novelty, and without new experiences, it begins to conserve energy. This can look like laziness or apathy, but in reality, it's a neurological response to an environment that no longer challenges or stimulates curiosity. There is also the invisible weight of role loss. Seniors often lose identities they held for decades. They are no longer workers, providers, decision makers, or caregivers in the same way. Society praises productivity, youth, and speed, leaving older adults feeling quietly irrelevant, not rejected, just unnecessary. When purpose fades, interest follows, not because life has no value, but because no one has helped redefine what value looks like in this stage of life. Physical changes play a larger role than most people realize. Reduced stamina, joint stiffness, hearing loss, and vision decline all add friction to everyday experiences. When everything takes more effort, the brain starts asking a simple question: is it worth it? Over time, the answer becomes no, not out of despair, but out of exhaustion. Seniors aren't losing interest in life. They're conserving energy in a world that no longer adapts to them. Social dynamics shift as well. Friends pass away. Families grow busy. Conversations become shorter and more functional. When interactions lose emotional depth, the brain receives fewer signals of connection. Loneliness doesn't always feel like sadness. Often, it feels like silence. A long, quiet pause where interest slowly slips away without anyone noticing. Medical systems unintentionally contribute to the problem. Many seniors are prescribed medications that dull emotional responses as a side effect. Blood pressure drugs, sleep aids, and pain medications can flatten motivation without causing obvious distress. The senior doesn't feel depressed. They just feel less alive. Unfortunately, this subtle change is often ignored or misdiagnosed. Another overlooked reason seniors disengage from life is the constant message to slow down. While rest is important, over-resting signals the brain that activity is dangerous or unnecessary. Movement, exploration, and contribution decline, and with them, curiosity. Humans aren't designed to stop wanting. They're designed to adapt. When adaptation is discouraged, interest fades. There's also the emotional fatigue of decades lived. Seniors have experienced loss, disappointment, struggle, and survival. They've learned how fragile life can be. This doesn't make them hopeless, it makes them cautious. Excitement feels risky. Getting attached feels costly. So they protect themselves by caring less. Not because life isn't beautiful, but because they've learned how much it can hurt. One of the most painful misunderstandings is how often seniors are talked to instead of talked with. Decisions are made for them. Opinions are dismissed gently but consistently. Over time, this erodes agency. And without agency, interest cannot survive. People engage when they feel they matter. When that sense disappears, motivation quietly follows. This loss of interest is not a failure. It's not weakness. It's not depression in many cases. It's a signal that the environment, expectations, and support systems surrounding seniors are no longer aligned with human psychology. The good news is that signals can be answered. Small changes can reignite engagement faster than most people expect. Meaningful conversation, choice, novel experiences scaled to ability, opportunities to teach, mentor, or contribute. When seniors feel useful, curiosity returns. When curiosity returns, interest follows. The brain doesn't forget how to care. It just needs a reason. If this message resonates with you, take a moment to reflect on the seniors in your life. Not what they lack, but what they're missing. Purpose, autonomy, stimulation, respect. These are not luxuries. They are psychological nutrients, and without them, interest in life naturally fades. And if this video is helping you see aging in a new way, take a second to like and share it. You never know who might need to hear this today. Families rarely realize how much their well-intended behavior shapes a senior's relationship with life. Love often turns into overprotection, and overprotection slowly turns into restriction. When older adults are constantly reminded to be careful, to sit down, to rest, to avoid risk, their world quietly shrinks. Not because their bodies can't handle life anymore, but because everyone around them has decided life is too dangerous for them to fully participate in. When seniors hear phrases like "don't worry about it, we'll handle it," over and over again, something subtle but damaging happens. Responsibility disappears, decision-making fades, and without responsibility, the brain has fewer reasons to stay engaged. Humans are wired to care about outcomes. When outcomes are removed, interest slowly follows. Many families confuse safety with fulfillment. They believe keeping seniors comfortable is the same as keeping them happy. But comfort without challenge leads to stagnation. A life with no expectations slowly loses meaning. Seniors don't need constant rest. They need reasons to wake up curious. They need problems to solve, opinions to share, and choices to make. Another silent contributor is how conversations change with age. Conversations become shorter, repetitive, and surface level. Seniors are often spoken to as if they are fragile, forgetful, or emotionally simple. Deep topics are avoided. Disagreements are discouraged. Emotional honesty is softened. Over time, seniors stop offering their thoughts altogether. Not because they have nothing to say, but because no one seems to want to hear it. Technology also plays an unexpected role. While it connects younger generations, it can isolate seniors when they aren't included or taught patiently. Being excluded from digital spaces can make seniors feel invisible in a world that now lives online. When events, photos, jokes, and conversations move to screens they don't fully understand, interest fades quietly. There is also a deep cultural issue few people want to admit. Aging is often portrayed as decline rather than evolution. Seniors internalize this message even when they don't consciously believe it. They stop setting goals because they're told goals are for the young. They stop dreaming because dreaming is seen as unrealistic at their age, but the brain doesn't age out of desire, it ages out of permission. Another major reason seniors disengage from life is the loss of future orientation. Younger people are constantly planning next year, next milestone, next opportunity. Seniors are rarely encouraged to plan forward. When the future feels short or undefined, motivation drops. Interest thrives on anticipation. Without something to look forward to, days blur together. Healthcare conversations unintentionally reinforce this mindset. Appointments focus on limitations instead of possibilities. What not to do, what to avoid, what to accept. Rarely do doctors ask seniors what they want to build, learn, or experience next. When life becomes a list of restrictions, curiosity quietly shuts down. Many seniors also carry unspoken grief, not dramatic grief, but cumulative grief. The loss of friends, routines, physical ability, social status, and independence adds up. This grief doesn't always turn into sadness. Sometimes it turns into emotional withdrawal. Caring less becomes a coping mechanism, not a symptom of depression. One of the most powerful but overlooked factors is how rarely seniors feel needed. When people stop feeling needed, interest in life declines sharply. Contribution is a psychological anchor. Without it, days feel empty even if they're comfortable. Seniors don't want to be entertained constantly, they want to matter. This is why some seniors suddenly seem more alive when they're given responsibility again. Watching a grandchild regularly, teaching a skill, volunteering, helping solve a problem. The spark returns not because their health changed, but because their role did. Purpose doesn't retire. It just waits to be reactivated. If you're watching this and you have an older parent, relative, or neighbor, this is where real change begins. Not with medication, not with lectures, but with involvement. Ask for their advice. Give them choices. Invite them into decisions. Let them fail occasionally. Let them try. And if you're a senior watching this, understand something important. Losing interest in life doesn't mean life has nothing left to offer you. It means your environment may no longer be asking the right things of you. You are not broken. You are underengaged. If this video is making you think differently about aging, take a moment right now to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps this message reach families who need to hear it before disengagement turns into isolation. In the next part, we'll talk about how seniors can regain interest in life without forcing positivity, without pretending to feel young, and without ignoring real physical limitations, in a way that feels realistic, dignified, and deeply human. Regaining interest in life does not require pretending everything is fine or forcing constant positivity. In fact, forcing happiness often backfires. Seniors don't lose interest because they forgot how to be joyful. They lose interest because life stopped responding to them in meaningful ways. The solution isn't to fake excitement, it's to rebuild connection, agency, and purpose in ways that respect reality. The first step is restoring choice. Even small choices matter more than people realize. What to eat, when to go out, how to spend an afternoon. When seniors are given control over these decisions again, the brain begins to wake up. Choice signals relevance. Relevance fuels engagement. Engagement slowly rebuilds interest. Movement is another powerful but misunderstood tool. This isn't about intense exercise or pushing limits. It's about reminding the nervous system that the body is still capable of interacting with the world. Gentle walking, stretching, gardening, or light physical tasks restore a sense of participation. When the body moves, the brain follows. Interest doesn't return all at once. It returns quietly, one spark at a time. Novelty is essential, but novelty doesn't mean chaos. It can be as simple as changing routines, visiting a new place nearby, learning a small skill, or trying a different way of doing something familiar. The aging brain still craves stimulation. It just needs it delivered with respect for energy levels and comfort. Social connection must go deeper than polite interaction. Seniors need conversations that matter, discussions about ideas, memories, beliefs, and experiences. They need to feel heard, not managed. When conversations regain emotional depth, the brain releases chemicals associated with connection and motivation. Interest grows naturally when someone feels seen. Purpose can be rebuilt at any age, but it often looks different than it did before. Purpose might mean mentoring instead of leading, advising instead of doing, guiding instead of carrying. Seniors carry wisdom that younger generations desperately need, even if they don't always ask for it. Creating spaces where that wisdom is valued reignites a powerful sense of meaning. Learning is another underestimated source of vitality. Learning doesn't stop with age. Curiosity doesn't retire. Whether it's learning technology, history, language, music, or a practical skill, learning tells the brain the future still matters. And when the future matters, interest follows. It's also important to remove shame from restlessness. Seniors are often made to feel guilty for wanting more from life, as if desire itself is inappropriate at a certain age. But wanting engagement is not immaturity, it's humanity. When seniors are allowed to want without judgment, they begin reconnecting with life on their own terms. Families can support this process by shifting from caretaking to collaboration. Instead of asking, "Are you okay?" ask, "What do you want to do next?" Instead of assuming limitations, ask about preferences. Instead of managing life for them, invite them to help shape it. For seniors themselves, self-compassion is crucial. Losing interest does not mean failure. It means something needs adjusting. Life has seasons, and some seasons require new forms of meaning. There is no deadline for rediscovering engagement. There is no expiration date on curiosity. Interest in life doesn't come back as fireworks. It returns as quiet moments of noticing, a thought that lingers, a task that feels satisfying, a conversation that leaves warmth behind. These moments add up, and slowly life begins to feel worth leaning into again. If you've stayed with this video until now, it means this topic matters to you. Maybe for someone you love, maybe for yourself. Share this video with someone who might be mislabeling withdrawal as depression, when it's really a signal for connection, purpose, and respect. And before you go, take a second to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. This channel is about understanding life honestly, without fear, without stigma, and without shallow answers. Because aging is not the loss of interest in life, it's the loss of life's invitation to engage, and that invitation can always be rewritten.